Welcome everyone. Oh yes, this is the second take of the Two British Nerds podcast. What? Shout out to all the crew in London, North, South, East, and West. And of course, a big thank you to everyone globally that's listening to me right now. Like I said, it's the Two Nerds podcast, but today I'm on my own because we did this podcast yesterday, and as I uploaded it and I listened to that, my friend Sheikha one dude was kind of muted. His mic was too low. So as we was reviewing Avengers Age of Ultron, all you could hear was me, and you couldn't really hear anything he was saying. So I thought I'd take it upon myself to put this podcast out and just do a little a spoiler-free review of you know of Avengers Age of Ultron. But before we do that, see how I look after you guys. I look after you guys because I'm in the UK. We get the movie, let's say two weeks, a week and a half before the guys in the States. So we got it yesterday on the 23rd, and there was special previews and the premieres, I believe, on the 21st and 22nd. And I don't want to spoil it for everyone out there. I'm gonna get into the movie in a sec, but I'm looking after you guys. Shout out to all my tweeting crew, and of course, if you're on the Twitter, please follow us on Two British Nerds, and that's with a Z, or how you guys would say a Z. Oh yes. Also follow me at CAVA DJ. That's right. I also DJ. That's my Twitter. And check out my friend as well at S.H.I.E.L.D. Dude. Oh yes. Tweet us. Bother us. If you've got any questions. If you want to hear anything, if you want to speak about anything, if you got questions, if you have anything, just hit us up, man, and we'll definitely get back to you guys. Or if you guys want to basically just keep it. Oh yeah, give me 1 second, guys. My cat wants to come in. Come on, come in. That's it. Right, come on, get on the bed. On the bed, meow. Come on, Black Widow. That's it. I'm only joking. My cat isn't called Black Widow, so he wouldn't really like that now, would you? Meow. Anyways, so hit us up on the email. That's twobritishnerds@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you, man. Hey, come up. Oh, you want to stay there? That's fine. Again, a big shout out to my Tweety Massive. Shout out to Miss Social Butterfly, always retweeting my tweets. Shout out to the one Bats. Shout out to my friend Brandy over there in the States, a big DC fan. I do love DC comics, but I'm never gonna lie in front. When I was younger, I grew up around X-Men, so the first book I literally picked up was the Jim Lee run in the 90s of X-Men. So I always warmed up to X-Men, Spider-Man in general. DC, I couldn't connect with DC, in that sense. I mean, Superman, I find him as a boring character. I like Clark Kent because at least for me he has more personality, and it reminds me if anyone back in the day watched what was it, The New Adventures of Superman by Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher, and there was a scene right where they go back in time, and Lois finds out who he is, and they get into like a little argument, and he says to her, Clark Kent is who I am, Superman is what I can do. And I was like, makes sense. So it'll be nice to actually see in the Man of Steel 2 to see more Clark Kent than Superman, if you know what I mean, because I kind of think that's one thing they missed out in Man of Steel 1. And I did like Man of Steel. The only thing that I had an issue with was the fact that, one, there wasn't any color in the suit. When we look at Superman, he's a very colorful person, and that. The other thing was, there was no Clark Kent, and that was basically it. I know DC always go for a more darker tone than Marvel do in their movies, and I can relate to that, because I do like my movies to be a bit dark and so forth. But I mean, the only thing I disagree with when they do the Superman movies is, especially in Man of Steel, right, is, Superman isn't a dark character, as we all know. He eats cookies and drinks milk. So it'd be nice to have a nice lighter tone of Superman in Man of Steel 2. And if not that, just add some color, man. You'll add some, just some vibration to the movie. But apart from that, I'm looking forward to Man of Steel 2. I will be there. And of course, my next big movie that I'm going to watch is going to be Star Wars The Force Awakens. Da, 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 da. But yeah, I can't wait for that experience. But I will not be booking it in the IMAX cinemas at all, because when I went yesterday in the IMAX, it was my first IMAX experience. Don't get me wrong. That I was like, whoa, you actually, it's not even a movie when you're in the IMAX. It's like you're just there. So I like that. I loved it. The experience was fantastic in that, but I just couldn't stand the seats were so close, and it was packed up with so many people. So all the seats were literally stuck together. It was hot. I felt like I couldn't really move. The chairs were not comfortable. And I'm talking about the IMAX, cinemas in Waterloo, London. So, like I said, man, that's my experience. I don't know how you guys in the States have your IMAX, but please let me know, man, because I want to know what it is. Is it me that's bugging out, or I don't know? But I feel like when I had my popcorn on I had my popcorn literally, trying to eat my popcorn, and the way the chairs were slanted, I had to sort of like pick it up. The 3D glasses were irritating me. You know what? That was one thing that annoyed me so much, was the fact that I don't know if you guys saw, right, but they were giving away limited edition 3D glasses for Avengers Age of Ultron, right? So you had all the 3D glasses based on the characters. So you had Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk, Vision. I think the only character they didn't have was I think it was Hawkeye, because they work for the main ones. Now I thought to myself, come on, man, like Hawkeye is a sick character, man. You should have one. But I was looking forward, to getting those glasses. I went in there. I wanted to buy all of them because they are limited, And if you go on eBay right now, they're going for a stupid amount, 15, £20 plus shipping. So they give me these big, science goggles that you would wear when you're, working in a science lesson in school. So I wasn't happy about that. But yeah, that was one experience I'm not going to repeat. So my next movie, which will be Star Wars, because I can't wait to watch Star Wars. 30 years in the waiting. It's going to be just a regular cinema. I'm going to go to the regular one, which I usually go to. Nice seats are kind of big, spacious. I'm going to just chill out, enjoy, and let the Force awaken. So, where were we, boys and girls? Sorry, guys and girls. You know how we do. Keeping this PG-13. No cursing. Keep it nice and clean. I'm the kind of guy I couldn't watch Baywatch, in front of my parents without me going, oh no. So I like to keep it nice and clean out there for everyone out there. Well, first of all, before we get into Age of Ultron, let's talk about what's happening. Just general news. So Mark Ruffalo has come out and said, and Mark Ruffalo is the person that plays the Hulk. Just in case you guys didn't know who I was talking about, because sometimes we say, yeah, I like the guy that plays the Hulk. What's his name? I don't know. He's green and he's the Hulk. Cool. I used to do that all the time. Yeah, so he's come out and he said basically that he signed up for another 4 movies, and he didn't really give a hint to what he was going to be signed up for, but he signed up for another 4 movies. Was it a year ago? Sometime I think it was about a year ago. Chris Evans came out and said that he would be, he wanted to kind of stop the acting and go into, I think, is it more of directing and stuff. But he came out a while ago and just said he doesn't have a problem with with playing Captain America. So I'm assuming he's going to be here for Civil War. I always did think that my idea was, I thought they were gonna he was either gonna, in the movies, either Bucky would come and take over as the new Captain America, and Cap would step down, or he would have Cap would have somehow would have got killed off, and maybe the Falcon could have played Cap. That would be interesting, right? Go right with what's happening in the Marvel universe right now, right? But yeah, that's that. What else? I think so far, Age of Ultron has opened up in Europe with about 9.5 million. A lot of people are saying, well, it's not a big thing, it's not a lot of money. Well, it hasn't opened globally, so we'll see what it will take. Apparently, it's estimated to take, I think, 250 million. We look at Avengers 1 in general, right? It made altogether 1.5 billion in sales. We look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I pronounced that without stuttering. What? Give me a high five, people. Shimon. Ow. So it's worth about, from when I last checked, 8.9 billion. So you can imagine Avengers 1 took a nice chunk out of that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how much money um, Avengers makes. Okay, let's move on to the Batman Superman trailer. You know what? I watched it and I watched it again, and I just, for me, I know it's a teaser, right? So, but it was like there was nothing there. There wasn't really that spark, Um, it was dark as usual, So it was dark. It didn't have for me the intensity. I wasn't like, whoa, like when you watched a teaser of Star Wars or a teaser of Age of Ultron. But then again, I think they had to release that trailer anyway because we all know it got leaked. It got leaked, right? Someone leaked 30 seconds of it, and then it got leaked again. And then the day after, they launched the official teaser. They launched the official teaser. So maybe they rushed it and they decided, we're going to push this out, so we'll give the fans just a snippet of what's to come. Saying that, it looked a bit intense, obviously, between Batman and Superman. I've got my money on Batman because I know Batman will in my eyes, he's smarter than him. You look at Superman and Batman, the rivalry is Superman's like, well, I can do what I can do because I've got the strength or whatever. And Bruce is like, well, yeah, but you haven't got the brains. You're big for nothing. So the rivalry is there, and I'm looking forward to it. The only kind of issue I had with the Batman suit was it looked more like he had an Iron Man suit on than a bat suit. It was humongous. The helmet looks slightly chunky. I think what really I would love for them to put in there is just have the old school Batman logo. It's when you can't even clearly see the Batman logo in that suit because it's so big. Apart from that, we're gonna find out, does Superman bleed? Yeah, I think he will, because I'm assuming from seeing that trailer, I'm assuming that Bruce maybe have like a kryptonite suit or have something, on Superman, because for him to say something like, "Do you bleed?" You will. Bruce is a smart guy. As you Batman fans would say, prep time, right? He preps for everything, Pretty cool character. I like Batman. Out of all the characters in DC, let me see. I'll tell you who I like, right? I love Constantine, um, Animal Man, Swamp Thing, Harley Quinn. I like Batman Detective Comics. I'm the kind of guy, I love like TV shows like Sherlock Holmes. I love murder mysteries. I love comics or movies or books that literally make you use your mind, use your mind to try to work things out and try to figure things out. I love it, man. So that's why I like the Dark Knight, because he's smart. Harley Quinn, I know, but she's nuts. I've always said, I was talking to, I was chatting to Brandy about this. What a sick team up if we had Deadpool, right? Deadpool and Harley Quinn. That would be like a nutty, nuts team up, because they're both crazy. regardless, their personalities are just they're just super out there. Um, that would be a very very nice team up. One of my, I've always wanted to see this team up, right, and Daredevil teaming up with Batman. That would actually for me be just an ultimate you know team up, because they're just both epic in their way. Um, Speaking of Daredevil, right, and this was released by Comic Book Resources and everyone else, right. Daredevil, the series that came out was April the 9th or the 10th, it's the second pirated series in Netflix. So it had 2.5 million illegal downloads. Um, and I can understand why from watching that show, right? I've never in my life signed up for Netflix. Period. So when it came out, I signed up. I watched all 13 episodes within, I think, 2.5 days. I watched them in the morning on my lunch break at work. I loved it. One thing I would say about that Daredevil, it is it is dark. It is literally a dark tone series. The way it's written, the way the fights are choreographed, it's amazing, man. I mean, the acting, it's just the acting, the punchline. There's one line where I can't remember who says it. He says, "There is no villains, there is no heroes. There's only people with different agendas." And I was like, "What? This is this is amazing, man." Like it made me. I just loved it because you know, I was like, "Whoa!" It was like I was watching a movie, and just so you people know, right? If you actually put all 13 episodes together, like Marvel did say, it actually is a movie because they continue from each other, So it's actually a movie, and I loved it. The scene, if anybody has seen Daredevil, right, you know what I'm talking about. The scene in the hallway, right, and when he's bruised, he can't walk, he can't literally breathe, right, and he's taking on all these people in the hallway, right, and the hallway is so small, and he gets, he's overexhausted to the point. He's just so overexhausted, and he's just, all you can hear is the breathing. um it was amazing, man. Like, I like those type of shows when there's more acting um than CGI and effects. So it's like when I watched the first three Star Wars movies, a lot of people will say, yeah, there's no CGI, but it had more acting than anything else. So for me, I like it because you have, like I always tend to say, right, you always have the organic experience in what do you call it? In everything that you do or see. I love the organic experience, man, and I felt that presence was there in Daredevil, man. So I loved it. I totally loved it, and what I liked about Daredevil, what I like about Marvel is, right, and I've always said this to all my friends, right. A lot of people will say, for example, DC. I'm doing, for example, the Flash, which is, I won't even say I'm not. I won't even. I've started to watch the first episode. Yeah, I am behind the first episode, but it's a sick show. They're doing like Flash, Gotham, Supergirl. They're also doing Constantine. Did I say that already? Constantine. They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of TV shows, right? With characters that people know, like for example, Arrow, Flash, Constantine. But what I like about Marvel is, right, is they take chances, like, for example, right, if you didn't read the comics of, for example, Luke Cage, you wouldn't know who Luke Cage is. Jessica Jones, she's new. The Defenders are really really old, right? So I like the way that, for example, they're taking chances with small characters, and these characters are blowing up. Like for example, with Daredevil, right? So if you never watched a Daredevil movie and you never read a Daredevil comic, then you wouldn't know who he is. So the series, for me, even Daredevil, is a big, it's a risk taker just like agents of Shield, right? Obviously, you were introduced to Agents of Shield or Shield, you know, in Avengers and whatnot. So you was introduced to Coulson, to Fury, Maria Hill, and you sort of got a feel of what Shield was. But if you've never read, you know, Agent of Shield, the comic, I'm not talking about the current one. I'm talking about the one that was, you know, written years ago. Then you wouldn't really know what Shield was. So they've taken a lot of Marvel have taken a lot of chances and it's paid off, man. It really has paid off. So like I said, you know, I'm not here to slander or say Marvel, you know, Marvel is this and DC is that. I like both, you know, but you know, I warm more to Marvel because that's what I grew up around, like I said before. So for me, I enjoy reading my Marvel. Going to DC, I really hope they don't scrap Constantine because I love that show. I love anything that has to do with the magic, occult. I love it. You know, I love that the energy. So I really hope that they keep Constantine. They need to. They really need to. But I think one of the reasons, obviously, one of the reasons they had the issue of Constantine was, I believe, it came on 10 o'clock on a Friday, right? This is the thing with DC. You know, they have a lot of TV shows, which is cool. But because you have a lot of TV shows, you're like, well, should we keep this one? This one ain't doing well. Ratings ain't doing good for this. They should have you know, just tone it down a little bit. But like I said, they're playing catch up to they're playing catch up to Marvel, because obviously Marvel's done is going full throttle with the movies. DC are going really in with the animes and the TV shows. I always did say they should have done, you know, you got Man of Steel. They should have done Man of Steel 1, right? Man of Steel 2, then Batman, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, and introduced, obviously, you know, like they do in the Justice League and so forth, and then do Justice League movie. So you sort of have like a flow. That's that's my take on it. All right, next, man. I should have done a podcast a long time ago. A long time ago. It's fun, especially when I'm talking to myself. But yeah, man, hopefully we getting more people on and more guests eventually, you know. So, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I bring this show up because I am a Marvel fan. But what I like about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was, and I like the way it's come about, is just the fact when it started off in season 1, it was, people said it was very slow, it was boring, it was cheesy. Yeah, it was, but I stuck with it because, you know, like I said, I've always been I'm a fan of, you know, Clark Gregg, so I'm a fan of Agent Coulson, or should we call him Director Coulson? You know, who still has Fury's toolbox. What does he? So it started off slow, and it totally went. The rating spiked up when they tied it in with Winter Soldier. We found out that now Ward is Hydra. At the end, you saw his, the man that trained him, Garrett, get literally blown to pieces by Coulson. Season 2 came in, started off dark, slow, and slowly kind of dipped, went back up. They took a break, and then Agent Carter got introduced. Agent Carter is set literally, I think it's set a year after the first Captain America. So we see how Peggy Carter deals with the loss of Steve Rogers, and how she deals with her own issues, and in connection with I love it, man, with how they introduced Howard Stark and his his the way that he paved things forward for Tony Stark. So I believe Agent Carter was at 6 episodes. They took, and then Shield came back on and then from there it just kicked off. You know, they literally killed the main Hydra heads. So it's doing really well for me. You know, what I like about Agents of Shield is they always give each character airtime. I do love Nick Blood, who plays Lance Hunter, because yeah, he's British, but you know. But no, he's just cool. They all have their own personalities, and it kind of just intertwines. So it's pretty cool. The last two episodes were just like amazing, you know. Episode entitled Melinda, when you find out why Melinda's called the Cavalry. And if you obviously, I will spoil it because you know everyone should have seen it by now. And if you haven't, then you know you shouldn't be listening right now. But yeah, you know, we find out why Melinda is the way she is. You know, just to break it down, on a level where we see Melinda May flashback, trying to rescue a girl with Phil Coulson. She goes in her own because for some reason all the other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents literally just get taken down. She goes in there. She finds a woman that's been basically controlling everyone, or has the power. So Melinda May kills her to find out she isn't really the person that was doing it. It was her daughter, and so we find out basically her the mum was believing in human, and the daughter was, if I can remember, she had the ability to just mind control people and take their pain. The more pain she got, the stronger she got. So Melinda had the choice. She was telling her to stop. She couldn't stop. And then she put a bullet into her. So now we kind of find out why she's so stiff, why she's so... why, you know, people say she's very cold. And we find out why she broke up with her husband. So it was an amazing, you know, it was an amazing... an amazing episode, man. Like it was pretty intense, you know, pretty intense. And then we have just what was it? Was it yesterday's? We have the scene also. I believe this is the episode after, which is called Frenemy, when Coulson meets up with Ward. You know, him and Ward, you know, see eye to eye. In this one, him and Coulson team up to try and find Sky. It's just nice to see Ward. You know, a lot of people say, you know, yeah, he's Hydra, he's evil. I like, nah, man, he's just a man on a mission. He's not good or evil. He's just, well, technically, he killed a few people, a few S.H.I.E.L.D. people. Well, he did actually. Then again, he slept with Melinda May, kissed Sky. Now he's with Agent 33. Pretty cool, right? What can I say? I like Ward. I like him as a character. For me, he's immortal, man. He's been shot so many times, and he's still there. But it was a pretty cool episode because you kind of saw, you sort of get the feeling that teams coming back together again, in a way where you know, there's a scene. Let me see if I can find it. Give me 2 seconds because I have the screenshot on my phone. Where are you? There we go. He says to Coulson, he says, we're outmanned, we're outgunned, and our only backup is Fitz. And I think after that he goes, it's your call, boss. So you kind of see the respect is still there, that even though Ward is this killing machine when he wants to be, he still knows that Coulson is still, you know, the man that calls a shot and knows how to call the shots. So it is a pretty cool, it's a pretty cool show, man. I like it, you know. I like it because it's gone now where it's become more serious. It's become like what S.H.I.E.L.D. is, just espionage, you know, where do your loyalties lie? You know, we look at Coulson right now, right? And he with Director Coulson, he's been living another life. You know, we find out he's got shell corporations. He's been flying around the world. What is he doing? What has he been doing? You know, the theme is people thinking that he's trying to collect superpowered individuals and whatnot. So is he really doing that? Find out. Just to let you people know, the next 2 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will tie in to Age of Ultron. So the next 2 to 3 episodes will tie into Age of Ultron. So you will get sort of a few Easter eggs in there. Also, the last episode of this season will be a 2-hour special. You know what? You guys in the States are lucky. You know why? Because you guys get everything before we do. So I have to watch it the next day. So because I'm on Twitter on the time, right? When it comes to that time, and then you get all the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Team plus Marvel tweeting saying what's happening on the show right now. I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could be a part of this, but I can't. But I'd love to. So I gotta watch it. I have to watch it the next day because in the UK, right, it's so backwards, man. Like when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started in the States, right, for you guys, they had to wait literally here in the UK for I think over a month and a half, just to catch up. So I believe in the States that you guys are like maybe 4 to at least maybe 6, 7 episodes, I believe, ahead of us. So you guys are lucky. Count yourselves lucky, man. I wish one day they would just shoot a Marvel show or a DC show and give us privileges. But then again, I guess we kind of get the privileges in the way because I believe that with Marvel Studios they use the UK studios to film, right? So that's why they give us privileges. So from now to 2018, we literally get all the movies first before anyone else. So like right now, Avengers Age of Ultron came out on the 23rd, and for you guys, it comes out on May the 1st, man. May the 1st. Just want to say, if you guys are not reading anything from Image Comics, please read Deadly Class. Black Science is amazing. It is cool, but I've decided to kind of drop it just to the fact that I'm collecting too much comics. And if you collect comics as much as I do, hint hint Brandy, then you'd be like, oh, should I drop this one? No, what should I do? Saga, you know what, right? You have to collect Saga, and if you can't, obviously, right now you can't get issue 1 unless you pay a ridiculous amount of money. I remember when Saga came out, my friend told me about a week later, or 2 weeks later, to get it, and I was like, okay. So I paid £10 for it, which probably be like maybe $15-20. But now, if you want that now, it's going for at least UK prices, 50 to 80 to £100. So just get volume 1, or you know what you do, right? Go on to the Forbidden Planet website, right? And you can get the Saga Deluxe hardback, right, which is about £35. So it should be like maybe for you guys maybe like $40, $42. And I'm gonna buy it just for the fact because I love the way it looks, and it has the first 18 issues, right? First 18 to 21 issues. Just to let you people know, there's 2 versions, right? And you can get the version that I'm about to speak to you about, then get it and don't open it because it's a collector. So it's the same one, but it has the mini print signed by Fiona Staples, right? And I believe it's 1 to 500. So whatever one you get, the lower the number, the better. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's a collector, so that. You got Sex Criminals, Invincible, man. Sex Criminals, and you also have Invincible, which is basically just like, imagine Superman without any weaknesses, And when they fight in Invincible, it's just shattering bones, fists going through rib cages, blood, guts. It is one of the best superhero comics we ever, You will read. So basically, right, if you basically now if you want to get into it, just get the volume just get the volume 1. The volume 1 deluxe volume 1 deluxe, right? And you can basically you can read it. You can read it right now. It's a pretty cool comic, man. But yeah, Saga is a must is a must is a must read, man, for anyone. It's just amazing, you know. It's just an amazing comic. I totally love it. Totally love it. Um, for DC, you know, Constantine, Swamp Thing, I believe. Yeah, they've cancelled Swamp Thing, haven't they? I was gonna say Swamp Thing and Animal Man, but they've phased them out. Um, Harley Quinn is a must read. You know, it is a must read. The next big thing for DC that started now is Convergence, which is a pretty cool book. I'm actually gonna pick up issue 1 and read it. So it's, in a sense, I haven't, you know, really read about it, but I'm assuming it's the same as what they're doing for Secret Wars in Marvel. I like DC's events. Something I like about DC Comics is they do less events than Marvel, which is pretty cool because Marvel do too many events, too many. I mean, it's crazy sometimes to keep up, and that's why I like DC because they do less, which is pretty cool. But yeah, guys, I can't stress enough, man. Saga, you must read Saga. Saga is cool. I love it, man. And if you've read it, you know exactly why. Also, Rat Queens. Ooh, the Rat Queens. Yes, it's an amazing comic book. Check it out. Check out Rat Queens. Right. So, looks like we're gonna go into Avengers Age of Ultron. Right. So I watched this yesterday in the most uncomfortable place I've ever watched a movie in my whole entire life again, which is the IMAX cinema in Waterloo, London. I would not be going back there again. Then again, the food was amazing, right? The food was amazing. The seats were not. People next to me were just sweating. I was like, oh man, it felt like I was in a sauna. You know, felt like I was literally in a sauna. There was no aircon. That was it. There was no aircon. So, Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Ultron, is a completely different movie to the first one, right? The tone is different, right? You see more, how can I put it? You see more of the characters than you would see than you saw in the last one. What I mean by that is you kind of get more of their story, who they are, and what they are, and what they're doing right now, and what will they be doing down the line. All the characters in Age of Ultron, man. I mean, they played such a good role. You know, we look at, for example, we go back to Avengers Assemble, and you know, the team started up. You know, in a sense, they're still rookies. They don't know what they're doing, who they are in a sense. But in this one, they're more. They're not rookies. They're more advanced. You know, mentally, physically, they know what they're doing. They know what their drive is. One thing I liked about Age of Ultron was also just the fact that you see more upgrades. And I mean by that, you see now Captain America's shield now magnetizes to his left arm thanks to the upgrades that Tony Stark gave to him. And you see this in the comics as well. It's pretty cool, man. You see Black Widow. She has more tools on her this time. She was amazing. Like, she had a big part in the movie. Hawkeye as well, man. I mean, I'm really happy that Hawkeye actually had a bigger role in the movie. Like I said, spoiler free, than in the last one, because you know in the last movie we hardly saw him do anything apart from him getting mind controlled and saying a few lines. You also find out in this, you find out that, for example, someone like Thor and Captain America, what I liked about the way they written them this time was, you know, in when you saw Thor in Thor 1 when he comes to Earth, Captain America tries to adjust to life after 75 years, and then you see both of them in Avengers, right? They're still kind of stiff. They don't know how things are going. They don't know in a sense, what to do, what to say. You know, apart from them going into the mission and doing what they have to do, although, you know, personality, where they're still trying to adjust to the world around them. But in this one, you see, you tend to see more sense of humor from Thor and Captain America. So you're like, all right, cool. These guys have, you know, they're kind of good at it now. They've they've adjusted to life, and you see more of their characters and how they are than what they do, which is fight, which is pretty cool. The Hulk in this was amazing because what I liked about um, this Hulk, you actually saw more. You get more of a presence of Bruce Banner than the Hulk. But in the first one, you know, you saw Banner for a few scenes, and you saw more of the Hulk. And you know, he hardly had any lines throughout the whole movie as well. You know, he hardly said anything. But in this one, you see more of the Hulk. Sorry, you see more basically of Banner's personality, and Banner actually speaking and saying, "Okay, you know, this is what it is." So you kind of the way you see Bruce Banner, for example, in the comics, and you know, let's just say in the comics, you see more of his personality, and you can kind of see, you know, okay, cool, you know, I like this. I see more Bruce. Going to, am I forgetting that? Going to, obviously, Mr. Tony Stark himself, Iron Man, still the same. You see more, of his personality in this one, which is totally, you see another aspect of Tony Stark that you didn't see in the first movie. So what I liked about this, what I liked about this this movie, what I liked about this movie was basically that you saw more of a darker, not a darker tone. You saw more of the substance of the characters than you would have seen in the first movie. This movie sets things up pretty cool for the next few movies, as usual. Marvel's catchphrase is, it's all connected, and it is, from the TV shows to the movies, right? I like the fact there was more acting. You know, there was more acting, more fight scenes, than, you know, than CGI. Well, unless you were seeing the fight scenes. Obviously, some of the fight scenes had CGI, but I like the fact that I just saw more acting, more fist, more you know, more hand to hand combat. The fight scenes were choreographed so cool, man. I mean, they were just done so nicely. It just reminded me like I was watching Doing a Soldier, that scene with Cap and Bucky, you know, going fist to fist. Just after, I think Cap falls from the bridge to the floor. So the fight scenes were amazing. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were cool. And one thing I liked about them, you can see the connection they have with each other. This Quicksilver he had more personality, more of a sense of humor than the Quicksilver in Days of the Future Past, you know. I wasn't really a fan of Future Past, just because for me, when they do these movies that are not Marvel Studios, you know, in a sense, right? I would say if it's not Marvel Studios, it's not a Marvel movie. So, but the Quicksilver, he was a bit, you know, just didn't do it for me. But this Quicksilver was funny, deadly when you wanted to be, and he had that spark within him. I said, okay, cool, you can't mess with me. I can do what I want to do. But he was also playful at the same time. Scarlet Witch, she was silent but deadly. She was like the innocent girl, but then she had so much energy within her that she's wanted to just let out. I think out of the two, she had more anger and frustration and than probably Quicksilver. Um, you know, but she was powerful, man. Like she reminded me of like how can I say? Look, we take for example someone like Jean Grey the Phoenix on that level. It says her power was so her power was amazing, but it was so deadly as well at the same time. But it was pretty cool, man. Really did um, love watching it. I would say though, one of my favorite things about Age of Ultron, right, and what I wanted to see, and it wasn't to do the characters well. For example, the main cast and stuff. It was I just wanted to see the performance by James Spader, who plays Ultron, and I'm a James Spader fan from watching The Blacklist. So if anybody watches The Blacklist and sees the character of Raymond Reddington, right, that's how Ultron is. You know, he has the same persona, the same. Just he's just the concierge, the concierge of crime in what do you call it, in the Blacklist. But in the Age of Ultron, he's very it's just deadly. You know, a lot of people have said no, you know, he doesn't do a lot in the movie. Well, he does in a way, and because of what happens with Ultron and the Avengers, right, it defines every single character in the movie. You know, so it lays the foundation and paves way for the following movies, which will be Civil War. Then you have Avengers Infinity Part 1 and um, Part 2. It was cool, man. I was like, whoa, you know, this is a completely different movie to last. It had more of a, can I say, darker tone, and you will know basically what I mean when you watch um the movie. But there's a few surprises in there that I'm not gonna say because it's spoiler free, you know. But there's a few surprises in there that you're gonna be like, whoa, okay, I didn't see this coming. Believe me, you will. Um, of course, how can I forget the Vision? Right, the Vision was the Vision. The Vision is just power. He is powerful, man. You know, obviously, if you guys have read the comics, you will know about him and what he does. But he was cool. He was calm. He out of all of them, he's like the calmest one, but he's the most powerful one as well. Um, he was very the way his movements, the way he moved, the way he spoke. You can just sense you can sense the power about him. What I loved about the trailers about Age of Ultron was they never showed you the Vision. If they did, if it was like maybe for a few seconds long. So if you guys want to see the Vision, then you have to watch the movie. It was like Avengers 1, right? When they um, showed you a few trailers, but didn't really show you the Hulk, because that's what everyone wanted to see, right? So I love the way they actually they done it. The way it was written was cool, man. I mean, Josh Whedon, like, you know, he's amazing. The way he writes, the way the movie's written, it's amazing. And the movie is action packed from beginning to end, and it has this. Yeah, what I liked about it was it has the same amount of action is combined with the same amount for me of what do you call it, of uh of communication and writing. So you have a lot of talking and you have a lot of fight scenes. You know, in some movies you get a lot of action and less storyline, and then some movies you get more storyline and less action. So for me, when I was watching it, I was like, whoa, like I sort of feel like, you know, like I was saying again, it is a completely different um, movie. I will say from my personal views of this movie, it's a let's just say it's an introduction to something big, and I'm gonna leave you with that. I'm not gonna go and tell you why or who or why, but it's an introduction to something big, to something that's coming. Um, so watch the movie. You know, I give it literally out of 10. I give it I give it a a 9. Because for me, right, there isn't, you could never give a movie 10 out of 10 because it has to have everything. They change a few things in the movie. For example, we all know that it wasn't Tony Stark that created the Vision. You know, it was Ant-Man. You know, so there's a few things they changed around, but I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with that because it kind of it's a good movie, you know, to watch, and I totally I loved it. I love the connection between the team, the punchlines. You can see that they now know each other, or do they know each other? Um, they know each other, and they're working so hard together. You feel more of a of a connection in there. I will say that you do in there you get more. What I liked about it was you actually they give you more of an origin story, right, with some of the characters in there, and you be like, whoa. And there's a few lines, there's a few scenes, and a few lines in there that you're like, whoa, this is this is really deep, man. It is really really deep, you know. Um, let's go back to Ultron. Ultron as a villain. Um, he was very humorous. He was very conniving, and he caused a lot of he caused a lot of destruction, right? But a lot of people, like a lot of people that I spoke to like today, or that I've been messaging and stuff, has said, well, he didn't do anything. You know, he was hard. You know, he wasn't there. He didn't really do a lot of fighting, and but then he goes, oh, they were like, oh, he didn't really mess up the Avengers. Yeah, he did. You know, because he did something in there, right? That he he's the he gives he makes the Avengers in a sense, right? He defines all of them in that movie. Um, but he was mean. I think he was like at least 8 to 10 feet high. Um, he was mean. He had no remorse, just like Raymond Reddington in the Blacklist doesn't have. And reminds me, I need to watch the episode, right? You know, again, I have to watch it today because I'm in the UK. Boo hoo. Um, one one other thing I wanted to basically say about the Avengers Age of Ultron was, you know, it was just it was I loved it was cool, man. It was cool. I loved seeing more of Hawkeye in there. So it's not this ain't a spoiler, but we all knew, we all heard from Jeremy himself when he said he wanted to, to have more of a role, and he did. You know, he was kind of the heart of the team, and it was nice to see him. It's nice to see that he actually looked more like Hawkeye than the last movie. Thor for me, like Thor in this movie, he was funny, man. He was really fun. You saw more of he had more of his own personal agenda in the movie. I think they all did in a way, but this movie lines up also. It lines it up for the next Thor movie as well. So in this movie, you kind of get little bits of what's going to happen in the next the next few Marvel movies. So they kind of dropped a lot of Easter eggs in there, and obviously one of the biggest Easter eggs in there that you will see, and it's not even a spoiler, the fact that you will see Stanley's cameo, which was totally amazing because everybody loves Stan, and if anybody here has watched Daredevil and can tell me, because I know where it is, right? If you guys can tell me, tweet me at CAVADJ or tweet me at, tweet us, two British nerds, right? Stanley's cameo in Daredevil. Da, 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 da. And there's a big Easter egg in Age of Ultron for one of Marvel's superheroes that isn't in this movie. You know, I'm looking forward to see how this kind of connects now when they push out Civil War next year. I'm totally excited. I'm going to see the man himself, Spider-Man. You know, it's nice to see that Marvel worked something out of Sony to finally get him in Civil War. Because for me, the worst. I think the worst superhero movies I've seen. Well, Dragon Ball Z was one of the worst. Actually, one of the worst movies I've seen. The second movies that I really, really think that were really poor, really bad, was Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I mean, they were depressing, they were poor. The CGI for the lizard was totally just rubbish. It was crap. He was depressed. It wasn't written well. It wasn't shot well. They had more CGI than anything else. I was like, When I watched Amazing Spider-Man 2, the best part for me was Stanley's cameo. The thing is, I'm not trying to rant on Spider-Man because I'm a Spider-Man fan. The only Spider-Man movies I did like was Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 that Sam Raimi did. I know Spider-Man 3, a lot of people were saying, well, it wasn't that good. Yeah, it wasn't that good, but I could bear to watch it, because it had, even though it wasn't Marvel Studios, it had the Marvel touch, because we all know that Sam Raimi is a Spider-Man fan. And saying that, Sam Raimi is also doing the Evil Dead series, which is coming up pretty soon. I think it's only 12 episodes, pretty cool to watch that when that comes out. But yeah, overall, Age of Ultron was cool, man. I just loved I loved all of them. The way they had their own part to play in the movie. Hawkeye had a big part. Scarlet Witch had a big part, very big part in the movie. The music was on point. It was hilarious at some scenes. People in the cinemas were just totally cracking up. The fight scene, like you see in the trailer, where you see Cap's fighting Ultron on the what was it? What was it? He was fighting Ultron in. How can I forget what this is called? This is totally just crazy. Oh, sorry, that's it. On the truck. That scene was pretty cool. You see Cap just holding it up, no shield. Ultron's about to literally just kill him. That scene was amazing, and you get the scene of where they're all trying to basically lift the hammer, right? Everyone tries, and it goes to Cap, and you see now when Cap lifts it, right? Well, when he puts his hand on it, it nudges, so it kind of tells you that in a sense he's worthy, because it goes back into the comics where Captain America does actually lift Thor's hammer. It becomes, he is worthy. So those scenes were cool. I think he was really good in that movie as well. I totally forgot. Rhodey that plays War Machine. He was in there as well. So you see him in the movie, which was, I was like, yeah, because I do like War Machine. He's like the less serious. He's like he's like a very, very chilled out version of Tony Stark himself, The Avengers Tower looks amazing in there, You just see more of the Avengers outside of their costume in that movie, which is pretty cool. And obviously you see there's tension. You see the fight scene between Bruce Banner, the Hulk, and the Hulkbuster. But then there's also more tension between certain characters in there that kind of tells you, okay, cool. So this is what Marvel are going to be doing in the next couple of movies, Thor in there was like, at some points he was like really aggressive, and I was like, whoa. Like you see more of the God side in him than anything else. I just can't wait now. Not even for Civil War. Civil War, yeah. Well, not Civil War, just Infinity. Just Infinity, because I really want to see how they incorporate Thanos into Infinity Wars, and will Thanos be coming to Earth? Will they be leaving Earth? Will we see more galactic people like maybe the Watcher, the Guardians of the Galaxy? What's gonna happen? What they're gonna do? Yeah. Avengers again, like I said, man. Go out there, people. Watch it. You can't go wrong with it. It's colourful. It has story. It's dark. It's light. It has action. It has colour. Cause that's what I like about Marvel movies, right? And I wish DC would do is that they have colour in their movies. Like you see like the bright colours, for example, Iron Man. You see Cap's blue suit. You see you just see a lot of colour, man. It just brightens up your day. So go watch it. So this has been the podcast by myself, DJCAVA, part of the Two British Nerds podcast. If you got anything to say, if you want us to review anything, talk about anything, if you want us to say anything, I just want to say hello. If you think this podcast was cool, if it wasn't, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, then just hit us up on the Two British Nerds at Two British Nerds, or just hit me up on at Cava at CAVA DJ, and also hit up my friend, the other part of the Two British Nerds, at Shika1 Dudes. That's SHIKA1 DUDE. So yeah, it's just a quick. This was supposed to be actually a quick 20-30 minute podcast, but I guess it's gone over an hour now, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, I'm into my Marvel comics, DC. Image is addictive, man, because if you collect Image comics, you probably spend more on Image than anything else, because when you have Image deals with self-created comic books, so they're always releasing issue ones and stuff, but they do some really nice books, man. So like I said, check out Saga, check out Invincible, check out Sex. Check out Sex Criminals if you like it. I kind of dropped off at issue 5 because I found it a bit boring, so I left that. Rat Queens, Invincible, Birthright is supposed to be a really cool comic. I've only got issue 1. I need to read that. Just saying that, I've got like a stack load of comics from about a week ago that I haven't even read. And of course, for you people that missed out on Secret Wars when it came out years ago as a huge Marvel event, from May the 1st, it comes back out again. You have Secret Wars. Then you have Secret Wars. Is it Battlefield, where it kind of goes more into the fights of characters going to fight each other. What else, man? Yeah, I do have an addiction for those pop vinyl figurines. Funko ones. I got a big Thanos one the other day, man. So cool. Spent about 18. What's it? Oh no, it's expensive. It came out to about $20. Sorry, £20 with shipping. So I loved it, man. Oh yes, I've got my Agent Coulson. The pop vinyl figurine. Totally love it. My original Sin Eyeball and my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. original Marvel merchandise from Loot Crate lanyard. So yeah, I love it. I love my life. I love to gain nerded out and everything that's cool. I love my comics. Also, I draw. I plan to do my illustrations. A DJ. I'm actually in the process of getting my artwork to scratch, so hopefully one day I'll be pushing out my own comic book. So hopefully, one day I'll be on a podcast and you'll be asking me questions. But yeah, thank you again for tuning into this podcast. Hope everyone is nice, cool, and of course in the States, I've done this at now at 3. I finished this podcast at 3 in the afternoon, which should be around 3. Come up to maybe the morning for you guys. So good morning, good afternoon to everyone in the UK, and good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening to everybody around the world, and we'll catch you this week for another podcast where hopefully his volume will be working, so you'll hear someone else apart from me. You know what I need on this podcast? I need to get we need actually to get a woman on this podcast. I need a feminine principle. Always nice. 2 guys is cool, but we need one more. We need a woman just to keep it. So my hunt begins. Peace out, people. Remember, comment below, and hopefully I'll be uploading this to iTunes so you guys can subscribe and listen on a weekly basis. Thank you again. Check out the movie Avengers Age of Ultron. Give it a 9 out of 10. Oh yes, I do. And may the force be with you all. Peace. Yeah.